Thank you for joining us on this episode of Those Who Served. Today we have a special treat as we will be discussing POW MIA issues with Rolling Thunder President Kenny Hensley. But before we begin, I would like to read the mission statement of Rolling Thunder. The major function of Rolling Thunder Inc. is to publicize the POW MIA issue, to educate the public that many American prisoners of war were left behind after all previous wars, and to help correct the past and to protect the future veterans from being left behind should they become prisoners of war missing in action. We are also committed to helping American veterans from all wars. Ladies and gentlemen, Rolling Thunder President, Mr. Kenny Hensley.
Well, thank you, Paula, for having me today.
Thank you for joining us. And Kenny, this is quite a powerful mission statement.
Yes, it is. And we do this nationwide. And we want to bring our people home. And that's what motivates what we do.
Bring them home no matter how long, where they are, which war.
Yes.
It
is a monumental task, but we will not stop. And that is what we do.
That's an awesome, awesome mission statement that you have and service that you provide. In the paper, in the news, occasionally you will see the remains of a veteran have been brought home from foreign shores. And we spoke before, the family members.
Could you just think for a moment, everybody that's not everyone has someone in the military, but if you had your son, your daughter, whoever is serving our great nation overseas that are in harm's way, and there are people that want to kill us Americans. They do not like us, and that's why freedom is not free. But what if you had your child that came up missing in action? You have no idea where your child is at. My family's been lucky. We've served our country. We haven't lost anyone yet, thank the Lord. But I know many families that have lost people and they have no idea where they're at. They've gone to their graves, parents not knowing where their child is at, or their father, or whatever the case may be on that. So that is what motivates us to do what we do. With JPAC, we work along with our federal and local governments to make sure we do not give up this fight to repatriate our armed forces that are missing.
Because no matter how many years, no matter how long, you don't give up the hope, the search, and the need for closure,
Exactly.
the need for exact knowledge.
Exactly, and then we have this organization called JPAC. I'm just really not sure what that acronym is at this moment. But it's a military entity that works with the government, and we have organizations that go overseas to the battlefields, and they have these dig sites. They find these remains. They go back to Hawaii. JPAC does the DNA testing to identify who these remains are, and they get home to their families. And we're still finding people and bringing them home. That's a wonderful thing. But we can't stop. We have over 83,000 Americans missing in action since World War II.
83,000 people, 83,000 families that are still daily hoping to know about their loved ones.
Yeah, we have a couple that are from right here in KATUSA County and Fort Oglethorpe, and which is more, but I found two specific people, if you would like for me to tell you who they are.
Certainly.
We have a Thomas Allen Duckett. He was from Boynton. This according to the records on the DPMO. He's MIA since December 12, 1970 from North Vietnam. He was shot down in his aircraft, and he's been missing since December 12, 1970. So that's a local person. We know family members that associate with Thomas Duckett. Another one is a Private Robert Paul Rosinski. He is from Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia. He was MIA in 1944 from the Battle of the Bulge. Oh. And he's been gone since 1944. how many generations past is that? And families still don't know where their loved one is. So this is a big thing. This tears on families' hearts. You have these Gold Star mothers out here that have lost their child. They're in a wonderful fraternity, but it's a fraternity that they really do not want to be in.
No.
And you know, I have no children, but my heart goes out for these people. I've served with people. I'm retired from the military. I've been in harm's way. I've seen, you know, the effects that it has on these families and these servicemen, and it drives me to do what we do. And it's an honor to do what we do. It's all about honor.
I have seen the passion and commitment in your eyes, in your actions throughout this year as you and I have worked together on several projects.
Right.
Gold Star mothers, Gold Star wives, mothers and wives of military who are missing or have not survived.
You know, another sad thing about this whole thing, Paula, is our federal government. Yes, they want to do, and we want to do, and then there's funding issues, and then there is laws bridging foreign countries and getting the access to get to these battle sites. And you know, you take North Vietnam for one reason. They will not allow us to go do certain things, and there's reports of live Americans still held in captivity in North Vietnam without real good, strong physical evidence, but from the South Vietnamese soldiers that have came to America, got released from captivity in the 80s and 90s, have reports, yes, they still have live Americans held in captivity.
Live Americans. Americans still there, live in captivity.
Yes, since the Vietnam War.
Oh my goodness.
We want to think that so much time has passed, anything could have happened. We want to hold it right here that yes, if there's still live Americans, we can get them home. We don't want to give that fight up, but in our mind, in our brain, the realistic expectation is fading fast of getting these men and women repatriated.
I had no idea, Kenny, that live Americans still there. I know how precious my Uncle Don is to me.
Right.
And he was in Vietnam. I can't imagine missing him, waiting for him, hoping, praying that he was returned to us.
It's if that does not tug at your heart, what will?
And in the season of Thanksgiving, I know how thankful I am for him and for all of you who have done so much.
We do appreciate the thanks, and we do this for honor. No Man Left Behind, which has really taken place. People my age, we go back, I joined the military in the 70s, and patriotism was not as strong as it was in the 40s and 20s, and patriotism in the 70s and 60s and 70s was not as strong as it is today. There has been a wonderful regeneration of American patriotism. I have for instance, that happened to me yesterday. I'll never forget this as long as I live. Yesterday was Veterans Day, and I stopped into a local convenience store, which I will not name, to get a cup of coffee. They have 3 sizes, small, medium, large. I got a small cup. And I approached the counter, and this young gentleman asked me, he goes, "Are you a veteran?" I said, "Well, yes, I am." He goes, "Well, happy Veterans Day." I said, "Well, thank you. I appreciate the kind words." And he goes, "The coffee is free today for all veterans." So I was like, "That's awesome." He goes, "But you got the small coffee, so you get change back." I got 10 cents change from a free cup of coffee. And that has left a mark in me that I know I'll never forget.
It's wonderful that so many business entities yesterday did give free offers, etc., to veterans. Wonderful. Tell me, what else, how are you keeping the awareness alive with the government? You guys have lobbying missions, Run for the Wall.
Yes, the Run for the Wall, that is our big event. It's nationwide. A quick little bio on it. We have 3 routes that start from California, and this is on motorcycles, and of course we all know that we're not a motorcycle club. But they start in California. You got the northern, southern, and central routes. And the southern route actually comes through this area and spends the night going on their way to D.C. They pick up people all the way across the country and converge into Washington, D.C. on Memorial Day weekend. And they spend the night here, and we feed them, because if you can imagine, you're traveling across country, you're tired, you're hungry, you're exposed to the elements. So we feed them for free, and they get their hotel rooms. And then we all end up in Washington, D.C. on Memorial Day weekend. We have a candlelight vigil at the Vietnam Memorial Wall on Friday night. Saturday we have events around town, and the patriotism there in Washington, D.C. from the citizens is just enormous. It gives me chill bumps just thinking about it right now. And then Sunday morning we all gather in the North Pentagon parking lot. And I know it's hard to count, but they put us so close together and parking our motorcycles, and then they do aerial photos, and they know the size of the parking lot, so they estimate a little over 900,000 motorcycles.
900,000.
And then we leave at noon out of the parking lot, escorted by the local police department. And we do our tour up around Constitution Avenue, by the Capitol, and down behind the Lincoln Memorial. And they are thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people lining the streets, waving American flags while we're doing our demonstration ride. And we're there to demonstrate that we, as a country, are not going to get up to fight for our missing in action and our prisoners of war, and the veterans' rights and the veterans' issues. And that's one thing we do. And then come November, we have our national conference, and we go back to D.C., visit our federal government, our legislators, our senators, our congressmen. We plan, we make appointments, we sit down, we have message points. We have several message points concerning veterans. They got this new toxicology survey for Agent Orange. Agent Orange has become a deadly, nasty thing that's causing cancer. And it's not only affected the member that was in country, that has affected his body, but his offspring as well, his grandchildren, and even looking back toward great-grandchildren now, are affected by this nasty Agent Orange. And the federal government is aware of this, and they got bills, and they're co-sponsored, and they're going through now, and they're trying to get through this year's Congress. Maybe, we're running late on that. And then we push for veterans issues, and we talk to the VA, the Veterans Administration, and the Secretary of the VA Affairs. And previous administration, we were having a backlog of veterans coming back from Afghanistan and Iraq over a year and a half before they can get their benefits, receive medical treatment. I don't know if you've seen in the national news where it started in Phoenix that servicemen were dying because they couldn't receive medical treatment because of the backlog tape and the government, the ways they do things. We had, at our conference, we had the liaison for the new Veterans Affairs Secretary speak to us, and I actually spoke to him, and I told him, I said, "Sir, I don't understand. A gentleman gets a DD-214, which we all know from the military, that's your discharge papers. It tells you if he was honorably discharged or whatever, and it lists all you've done, all your awards, where you've been stationed, how long you served. He's got this, he's got an ID card. Why can he not walk up to the VA and get immediate help? We have And this VA liaison officer told us at the meeting that we have 22 per day suicide rate from our veterans coming back from Afghanistan and Iraq. And he says the numbers are probably higher because some of them are not getting reported. This is just what they know. This is what the Veterans Administration knows, is 22 suicides per day in our country for our Afghanistan, Iraq veterans. What's wrong, Paula? Why can we not figure this out? They're coming back, they're committing crimes. They need help. And we're here to make sure that happens.
Obviously, 22 a day suicides.
That is what was reported to us.
What is a possible solution, Kenny? How can we help these people who are coming back who have served the country? What can we do?
When they come back, they should go through a transition assistance program, which I'm sure they do because we've done that. And if they say that they feel like killing themselves or committing a crime, take that serious and get them mental health, mental health issues and physical health issues, double and triple amputees, etc. Help them. They are over there helping us. They're in harm's way. They're getting killed. They're getting shot. They're getting maimed. Let's help them.
Great idea. Great idea for church programs. Great idea for civic organizations. Help a veteran. Help returning veterans.
Exactly. They're coming home with no jobs, no way to keep their families up. And this has got to be an enormous amount of pressure. They've come from a place where they've had brotherhood, their family, they're fighting, they're in harm's way, they're getting shot at. They come home to their family, their wife, their children, or their husband and their children, whatever the case may be, and they have no job. Every veteran should be able to get some kind of job. They should never have to worry about medical issues. We, as a country, should take care of them and their entitlements. But you're correct. Any veterans organizations, any churches, church leagues, Ruritans, any kind of community-involved people, or even private people, or large corporations. We all know everything takes money.
True.
And that is the root of a lot of problems.
True. Let's talk about that. Rolling Thunder, you have some projects that you do and participation. Yesterday you were at 2 schools.
Yes.
And what do you do at these schools?
We have an honor guard, and we're made up of just old broke down veterans that we still have it in our heart to honor our missing in action. And we do what we call a missing man table ceremony. It's a small round table with a white cloth and place settings for 6 places. We recognize each branch of service and a civilian that's missing in action from a conflict, a war, a battle zone, or whatever. And we use that to educate our public. And yesterday morning, we were invited to go to Dade County Elementary School to do our missing man table ceremony there. And then when we finished up there, we were invited to go to Dade County Middle School to do our ceremony at Dade County Middle School along with their band. It was a wonderful, wonderful thing. But when we were going into the elementary school, there was a gentleman driving out of the parking lot, and I guess he must have been a teacher or something for the high school, and he invited us to come to the high school. Unfortunately, we didn't have that on our program. We couldn't time slot that in. And, if you know who you are out there at Dade County High School and you want us back, well, just give us a call. But And then the Elks Lodge last night. Yesterday was a very busy day, and we were very tired when we finally got home. But anytime we have a chance to do a thing of honor, it doesn't matter how tired, how whatever. If we have the ability to do that, we'll do it.
Missing man table, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, and citizens
Yes.
who are missing
In action.
in action.
Yes.
Rolling Thunder represents all branches of service and citizens.
Yes. We are a very unique organization. You might have seen us around riding motorcycles and vests with patches and stuff on, and maybe we got the stereotype of being a motorcycle club or something of that nature, but in all honesty, our local chapter, the people that ride motorcycles, we are the minority in the chapter, and you do not have to be a veteran to be a member.
Okay.
You have to have a heart for veteran. Just have a heart to help.
So you don't have to be a veteran to be a member.
You don't have to ride a motorcycle.
You don't have to ride a motorcycle to be a member. It is not a motorcycle club.
Exactly.
It is a veteran education awareness organization for
Exactly.
MIA POW.
Exactly.
You meet where and when?
Oh, we meet on the fourth Monday, which is not always the last Monday of the month, at Wally's in East Ridge. We get there at 6 p.m., 1800 for you veterans, to have dinner. We get off to the side in one of the meeting rooms, and then our meeting starts promptly at 7, which is 1900.
Okay, 7 p.m. for
And
those of
everyone
us
is
who are
welcome to come. It's a public meeting. Come in, and we would love to have you. We'd love to, we'd love to grow our chapter and get more people involved.
Excellent, and you guys do so much.
Right.
Just recently, you met with me, and we talked about the KATUSA Citizen and Veteran Memorial located here in KATUSA County, and the fact that they did not have a POW MIA tree. We had planted a couple of trees and all had died.
Yes.
And I said, Kenny, can you guys plant another tree? And I expected you to come with a couple guys with a couple shovels and put a tree about this big. That's not what you guys did.
If we're going to do something, you got to do it right.
And you did. I was amazed. In fact, I spoke with Leroy Wilson yesterday, and he shows up with a backhoe.
Leroy's got really good toys.
Yeah. You dug a huge hole,
Yeah.
and you put a 20-foot tall oak tree at the KATUSA Citizen and Veteran Memorial.
Right.
Beautiful tree. I invite everyone to go to the memorial at Benton Place campus
got
by
brown-
the colonnade.
It's got brown leaves on it right now.
Well, it is the fall. So you did that. So
Right.
people will see MIA, POW
POW.
tree.
Uh-huh.
You guys have your missing man ceremonies, your school visits. You go to nursing homes.
We go to nursing homes that have veterans, and we just check on them and make sure they're okay.
Just to see them, let them know somebody still
Right,
cares, somebody
yes.
still loves them.
There's veterans out there in nursing homes that have no family. Or if they do have family, they don't come by to see them.
Sad situation, but you guys make it better. You go to Murfreesboro. What do you do in Murfreesboro?
Well, as we all know, Murfreesboro has a large veterans hospital, VA hospital out there, and on the hospital campus is a veterans home. And a lot of veterans live there that are medically challenged or need medical attention. It's kind of maybe a senior citizen's place, but you have people that transit through this home. We go there more, at least once a quarter because of funding. We used to do it every month. We'd go there and grill out and cook food for them, feed them, and check on them, and go to the wards and look at them, and we get them off to themselves and say, "Are you being treated well?" And just make sure they're taken care of. And this coming December, we'll go out there and feed them a Christmas dinner, and just show them a little. We'll have Santa Claus. We'll show them a little love and just make sure they're taken care of. And it's just a wonderful time. That's taking care of your veterans.
Taking care of them,
You do
as
what-
they took care of us.
Yeah, do what you can. If you can't do much, do something just shake their hand and maybe give them a drink of water or something. Do what you can. Do what you got in your heart to help out veterans. And that's how we approach this. Yeah, you know, money takes a lot of stuff, and it takes a lot of money to do stuff, but we do what we can. And going back, I want to jump back a moment, Paula. What we do in D.C. You have a hospital here in Fort Oglethorpe, Hutchinson Hospital.
We do.
When I was up in D.C., I was meeting in Congressman Fleischman's office, and I brought up the fact that, you know, Hutchinson Medical Center would probably be a good place to put a veterans hospital. And I asked him to start a bill or to look into to get with the VA. The VA is very guideline specific on structure and infrastructure for their medical units. We tried to have one put in up in Dayton, Tennessee. The hospital went into there, and they actually went and inspected that hospital, and it would not meet the federal government standards for a VA hospital. But the fact that they actually went there to inspect it, and they realized that Southeast Tennessee, Northwest Georgia, there are tons of veterans here that need some kind of medical facility. They are using the Veterans Clinic over at Eastgate in Chattanooga, a wonderful facility to do a lot of stuff. They need a hospital. We need a hospital here for our veterans. And we go over there once a month. You know, they have to fast one evening and then go and get their test done that morning. So by the time they get their test done, we're there with biscuits that we buy from up here in Fort Oglethorpe.
Thank you.
We buy 100-something biscuits and go over there, and we feed those veterans when they come out, because, you know, they got to be hungry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the little things, that helps veterans.
Means so much.
Means so much.
So you spoke with Congressman Fleischman regarding the hospital.
I spoke to his staffer. He was probably doing a post-election party or something. I don't mean it that way. I'm sure it was cake or a meeting with somebody, but his staffers, yes.
So a VA hospital here in Fort Oglethorpe is something Rolling Thunder is interested in.
We would push for that if we could get a bill going, and I am certain these other veteran organizations, the American Legions, the VFWs, would be on board with that also. I think we have a friend in common, Larry Hester.
Oh,
He's
definitely.
a very good man to push for things, and he takes care of veterans like no one else in this area, and he's an honorable man. If we could get that, that would be an amazing step for helping our veterans.
How could citizens and veterans help with that project?
A citizen and a veteran that, you know, you can go online and find out who your federal representative is if you do not know, and you can get an email address, write them letters, make phone calls. Hey, I'm Kenny Hensley. I would like to talk to you about the Hutchinson Medical Center in Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia, making it a veterans hospital, or maybe even just a wing of it, part of a veterans hospital. And just communicate. Communicate, communicate, communicate. Push, 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 don't give up, fight, fight, fight.
I like it. I like your attitude. Keep going. Press on, press on.
That's right. Never give up.
Okay. Run for the Wall is what time every year?
It is Memorial Day weekend. They come in here on Tuesday, the Tuesday before Memorial Day. And if you've never been there to witness that at Thunder Creek Harley-Davidson, when these 600 motorcycles come rolling in at rush hour traffic, I'm sure some people going home like, oh gosh, I got to get home. And we all know that. But if you never witnessed that, you should come up to Thunder Creek Harley-Davidson and volunteer your time to help us feed these guys when they come in. We would love to have you.
I'd love to do that.
It is an amazing, absolutely amazing event, a spectacle to see all these people coming in, knowing they're coming from across country. They're exposed to the elements. They got leathered up so for protection, and you know, they have this entourage of media following them, and we feed them, and it's just a wonderful, wonderful experience, especially for you veterans. You know, you got like-minded people out there, and it's, you know, Paula, it's therapy for veterans.
It is. So when you see these motorcycles Memorial Day weekend, now you know they are on a mission to go to D.C. to make sure that everyone is educated and aware of the POW MIA situation in our country. Kenny Hensley's part of that mission. Now, Kenny, Andersonville.
Oh, wow. Thank you for bringing that up. Andersonville, Georgia, the infamous prisoner of war camp from the Civil War. The Union Army had theirs up in Illinois. The Confederate Army had theirs in Andersonville, Georgia. Thousands upon thousands of people perished at this prisoner of war camp. The third weekend in September is set aside for our National Prisoner of War Day. It begins on Thursday, and it's a weekend event. And we have what we call the Ride Home, which is done by another organization. The name of their organization is The Ride Home. And they bring these prisoners, these former prisoners of war, from all over the country to Andersonville to have these wonderful, wonderful ceremonies, these healing projects. You're on the ground of this former prison, which also has a cemetery from where all those prisoners have perished at this camp. And it is one of the most up-close, personal moments that you could ever experience, to go down and be a part of this ceremony with these former prisoners of war. We have several amongst us here in this area, and we get them and we take them. You know, one in particular is Bill Norwood. You had the pleasure to meet this man.
I did. An honor.
And I'm telling you, this man is something very special to me, him and his wife Elizabeth. And we get them, we take them to Andersonville every year. We sponsor those.
So POWs from all over converge in Andersonville each year.
Right.
This healing process, therapy for them,
right,
and an opportunity to honor them for their service. Done the third weekend of September every year,
right.
Andersonville, Georgia.
Yes. And you know, these men and women love to tell their story. If you just come up and ask them, what was your situation? What was your story, sir? Would you mind sharing it with me? Most of them love to share their story. That's a therapy for them also. That we all can do our own little part and help our veterans. I don't have children, and maybe I don't know that connection with a parent and a child, but for me, I could only imagine the pain, because it's obviously unconditional love.
It is.
You know, I just cannot imagine, and that's what drives me, and that's what drives everyone in our chapter, Rolling Thunder Chapter 2, Tennessee, to do what we do. I am so blessed to have these people in my life, and we do so much. We're doing something every weekend. Sometimes I get so tired, I say, I'll need a me day, and then, my friends will say, no, we need to go do this, and they're right, and I continue.
It's a labor of love, is it not?
It is, it is.
And your labor of love and all the members of Rolling Thunder. People want to help. The missions take money,
Yes.
take time. If someone wished to donate to Rolling Thunder and their mission, how could they do so?
There's a couple of different ways, Paula. If you want to donate, which we would love to have your donation, and you would like for it to be a tax write-off, our chapter is a 501c4, so we can't give you a receipt from our chapter, but we have a Rolling Thunder Charities, which is a 501c3. If you go online, rollingthunder1.com, the one is the number one, rollingthunder1.com. It'll have a link over on the left margin, and then at the bottom you'll see Rolling Thunder Charities. Mm-hmm. Click on that link, make your donation, earmark it to Chapter 2, Tennessee, and those funds are ours, and we do local stuff here in Northwest Georgia and Southeast Tennessee.
Okay.
And go ahead.
So, if you would like to donate to Rolling Thunder and all the projects that Kenny has told us about today, rollingthunder1.com, charities, select Rolling Thunder Tennessee 2, and the money will go for projects here in the Northwest Georgia, Chattanooga area. Important to keep that money at home and help our veterans. Another thing you can do is just sit with the veteran, listen to his or her story. It's an important therapy, an important part of your personal project and mission to help veterans. Kenny, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Oh, it's been my pleasure. Thank you for having me. It's one way to get our word out.
Exactly, and we'll do our very best to get the word out and to make these projects happen and happen for Rolling Thunder and all the veterans. Thanks for spreading the word, educating the people, and thanks for your service.
Well, thank you, Paula.
Thank you for joining us on this segment of Those Who Served, featuring Rolling Thunder Tennessee 2 and their president, Kenny Hensley. Thank you, Kenny, for the mission and the education. God bless America, all those who serve, and as always, it's a great day to be in Fort Oglethorpe.